If you truly understand what drives your late-night longings, the quiet yearnings that stir within you when the world sleeps, or the insistent pull towards something just out of reach, then you will, in fact, hold the key to understanding the very architecture of the universe itself. This isn't hyperbole. This is an invitation to look deeper, to feel with greater precision at the powerful, often bewildering force we call desire. For too long, we have mistaken its nature, misread its signs, and consequently, missed its profound purpose. Imagine, for a moment, that every single impulse, every yearning for beauty, for connection, for knowledge, for anything at all, is not merely a random flicker of biochemical processes, nor an arbitrary preference formed by circumstance. What if, instead, these inner movements are precise, deliberate signals? What if they are part of an intricate design, guiding us along a specific trajectory, leading us somewhere far beyond the physical, beyond the immediate gratification, beyond the fleeting touch of the tangible? Consider the common human experience, a fear that perhaps resonates within your own memory, the unsettling cycle of endless, unsatisfied consumption. We chase after experiences, acquire possessions, seek external validations, believing that this time, this purchase, this relationship, this achievement will finally fill the void. We accumulate, we consume, we momentarily feel a tremor of satisfaction, only to find the hunger return, often sharper and more profound than before. It's a relentless, unceasing quest where every victory feels hollow, every peak a prelude to another valley. This is the pervasive dread of an existence defined by an insatiable appetite, forever seeking, never truly finding, perpetually consuming but never truly fulfilled. This is the trap, the illusion that desire is a monster to be fed, an endless pit that threatens to swallow us whole. But what if this pervasive craving, this internal engine that propels all human endeavor, has been profoundly misunderstood? What if its true nature is not one of a snare, but of a pathway? What if, instead of being a trap that binds us to a futile cycle, desire is, in truth, a ladder, a meticulously crafted instrument of ascent, designed to elevate us, rung by arduous rung, from the material and transient to the enduring and transcendent? This is the profound realization. Desire is not a trap. It is a ladder. And here lies the tragedy of human existence for so many. Most of us die on the very first rung. We never even begin the ascent. We mistake the initial stirrings, the first tremors of longing, for the ultimate destination. We perceive the material object of our desire as the goal itself, rather than as a pointer, a symbol, an initial impulse meant to lead us onward and upward. The attraction to beauty, for instance, often ends with the admiration of a beautiful form, a fleeting image, a momentary pleasure. We cling to that first rung, believing it to be the summit, unaware that it is merely the starting point of an incredible journey. Every yearning, therefore, carries within it a blueprint, a hidden architecture guiding us. It is not a chaotic eruption of wants, but a finely tuned instrument, pointing unerringly towards a higher reality. This inherent drive, this ceaseless longing embedded within the human spirit, is not random. It is not an accident. It is a specific trajectory, carefully laid out, meant to lead us, if only we would heed its true direction, far beyond the confines of the physical world. It is a map to realms of understanding, connection, and fulfillment that lie entirely beyond the superficial demands of our senses, beckoning us toward a destiny far grander than we currently dare to imagine. Let's step back in time, over 2 millennia ago, to the vibrant heart of ancient Athens. The year is 416 BC. Picture a grand Athenian home, not a solemn lecture hall or a dusty library, but the elegant residence of Agathon, a celebrated tragic poet. Inside, the air is thick with the aroma of fine wine, the low murmur of animated conversation, and the clinking of goblets. This is no ordinary gathering. It's a celebration, a victory feast following Agathon's latest dramatic triumph. Imagine yourself there, among the most brilliant and influential minds of classical Greece. Esteemed philosophers, witty playwrights, ambitious politicians. The intellectual elite of Athens are all present, reclining on couches, sharing stories, and partaking in a symposium, a sophisticated drinking party. Yet beneath the veneer of jovial camaraderie, something profound, even radical, is about to unfold. For what you are about to encounter in Plato Symposium is not a dry, academic treatise to be studied from a distance. Far from it. This is a collection of speeches delivered extemporaneously, fueled by wine and passion, and resonating with ideas so potent, so provocative, that they would echo through the annals of Western thought for centuries to come. These weren't polite academic discussions. They were deeply personal, often dangerous declarations, challenging the very foundations of how love, desire, and purpose were understood. Each speaker, from the comic playwright Aristophanes to the young, captivating Alcibiades, offers a unique, often competing, vision of Eros, the Greek word for desire or love. And this, precisely, is why this ancient text continues to hold such immense power and relevance for us today. For in these impassioned speeches, Eros is transformed. What we commonly understand as simple lust, a fleeting physical attraction, or a basic instinct, is here redefined. Plato, through his characters, elevates Eros into something far grander, far more profound. It becomes the very engine of philosophy itself, the fundamental yearning that drives us towards beauty, truth, knowledge, and ultimately, towards understanding our place in the cosmos. It is the force that propels us beyond the mundane, guiding our ascent from the earthly to the divine. So, this isn't merely an exploration of ancient philosophy. It's a journey into the very essence of human motivation. It's a promise delivered directly to you. By the end of our time together, by the end of this hour, you will not only grasp this radical redefinition of love, but you will also gain invaluable insight into how to transmute your most basic instincts and desires, those powerful, often unruly forces within you, in a higher wisdom, into profound understanding, and into a clearer path towards personal fulfillment. You will learn to harness that innate yearning to propel your own growth, and, in doing so, potentially escape the often painful and repetitive cycle of heartbreak that so many experience when love is misunderstood. This ancient wisdom offers a transformative lens through which to view your deepest desires and to ultimately guide you towards a more enlightened existence. Our journey into Plato's Symposium begins with Phaedrus, a young and passionate devotee of philosophy, who sets the stage for our discussion on love. He argues that love is not merely a god, but indeed the most ancient of all deities. This isn't just a minor detail. It's a profound claim, suggesting that love existed before all others, born from the primordial chaos, without parents or origin beyond itself. It is, therefore, a fundamental, elemental force in the universe, a primal energy that shapes existence from its very core. But what does it mean for love to be the oldest god? For Phaedrus, it means love is the primary source of two of humanity's most potent motivators, shame and courage. Consider this. A person in love, facing a moment of danger or moral choice, experiences an almost unbearable internal pressure. The thought of being seen acting cowardly, dishonorably, or unjustly by the one they adore is far more terrifying than any physical threat. A lover, Phaedrus suggests, would willingly face death 1,000 times over rather than betray their beloved or be found wanting in their eyes. This deep, almost visceral dread of disappointing the beloved becomes a powerful engine for heroic action, driving individuals to astounding feats of bravery and self-sacrifice. It's a unique mechanism. The beloved's gaze becomes a more potent judge and a more compelling incentive for virtue than any external law or punishment. Laws, after all, are imposed upon us, often followed out of fear of consequence. But love, true love, creates an internal standard, a deeply felt desire to be worthy, to embody the very best of oneself for the sake of another. This internal compulsion, born from admiration and affection, transforms ordinary individuals into paragons of courage and integrity. Phaedrus then extends this idea beyond the individual, pondering its implications for society. Imagine, he posits, an army or a city composed entirely of lovers and their beloveds. Such a society, he argues, would be unconquerable. Its members would be bound by an unbreakable loyalty, each willing to die for the other, incapable of abandoning their post or committing any act of disgrace. Their collective sense of honor, fueled by their profound emotional connections, would create a force far more just, more courageous, and ultimately, more orderly than any state governed by mere laws or fear of authority. This brings us to a compelling question, one that perhaps resonates in your own life. Who influences your behavior more profoundly? Is it the distant, abstract authority of the law, with its rules and potential penalties? Or is it the immediate, powerful presence of the person you deeply desire to impress, the one whose opinion matters most to you, the one in whose eyes you long to be seen as noble and worthy? Phaedrus's initial argument suggests that this deeply personal, intensely felt connection, born from the oldest god of love, holds a far greater sway over our actions and our character. And so, as the conversation flowed, the spotlight turned to Pausanias, whose thoughtful contribution aimed to refine our understanding of love itself. He contended that Eros, often spoken of as a singular entity, is, in fact, twofold. Not all love, he suggested, is noble or even good. Its quality depends entirely on the Aphrodite from whom it springs. Pausanias begins by distinguishing between two goddesses of love, Aphrodite Pandemos, the common Aphrodite, and Aphrodite Urania, the celestial Aphrodite. From these two, he argued, originate two fundamentally different kinds of love. This distinction, he insists, is crucial for anyone seeking to truly understand the power and purpose of Eros. Let's first explore what Pausanias calls the common love. This love, associated with Aphrodite Pandemos, is earthly, indiscriminate, and ultimately rather vulgar. It is a love that values the body above all else, driven primarily by physical desire and immediate gratification. Pausanias points out that those who fall victim to common love are not discerning. They care little for the character, intelligence, or virtue of the beloved. Their focus is solely on the physical act, on sensual pleasure, and on satisfying an impulse. Think of it as a love that is random and fleeting. It attaches itself to any object of desire, regardless of age, gender, or maturity, because its aim is merely to possess and to be satisfied in the moment. It is born of a goddess who is both male and female, representing a primal, unrestrained impulse. This common love is transient, existing only as long as the physical attraction endures, only as long as the immediate craving is met. It is by its very nature superficial, lacking in depth and any true, lasting purpose beyond the ephemeral thrill. In contrast, Pausanias introduces us to celestial love, which he links to Aphrodite Urania. This Aphrodite, he reminds us, was born solely of Uranus, without a mother, making her the older and purer deity. The love stemming from her is noble, purposeful, and profoundly different from its common counterpart. Celestial love is directed not towards the body, but towards the soul, not towards fleeting pleasure, but towards enduring virtue and intelligence. What then makes this celestial love so distinct? It is, first and foremost, a partnership designed to improve the character of the beloved. When someone experiences celestial love, they are drawn not by mere physical allure, but by the promise of intellectual growth, moral development, and the cultivation of excellence. The lover seeks to inspire virtue in the beloved to help them become a better, wiser, and more honorable person. This love is a reciprocal journey towards self-perfection. It manifests as a deep admiration for the beloved's mind, their integrity, and their potential. Pausanias emphasizes a critical danger inherent in common love, one that celestial love artfully avoids. To love the body, he argues, is to love something that ages and decays. Physical beauty, however captivating, is destined to fade. The youthful bloom gives way to wrinkles, strength wanes, and the very form we admired transforms inevitably with time. If our love is solely anchored to these transient qualities, then what happens when they are gone? The love, too, will wither and die, leaving behind disappointment and emptiness. Celestial love, however, transcends this vulnerability. By focusing on the soul, on virtue, intelligence, and character, it attaches itself to qualities that do not decay with age. Indeed, these are qualities that can grow and deepen over a lifetime. To love the soul is to invest in an enduring essence, something that can become more beautiful and profound as the years pass. It is a love built on a foundation that resists the ravages of time, offering a far more stable and fulfilling connection. So, Pausanias concludes, while both are called love, their nature, purpose, and outcomes are worlds apart. One is a fleeting embrace of the physical, leading to eventual disenchantment. The other is a profound commitment to the soul's growth, fostering a lasting bond built on mutual respect, admiration, and the shared pursuit of excellence. This distinction, he implies, is not merely academic. It is a vital guide for how we choose to love and, ultimately, how we choose to live. As our intellectual feast on the nature of love progresses, we now encounter a truly distinct voice in Eryximachus, the esteemed physician. Up until this point, our journey through the symposium has largely explored love within the intricate tapestry of human relationships, the profound bonds, the passionate yearnings, the emotional landscapes that connect us. But Eryximachus invites us to take a wider, more expansive view. He urges us to look beyond the interpersonal and delve into the fundamental workings of the universe itself, shifting our focus squarely onto physics, biology, and the very essence of nature. For Eryximachus, love is not simply an emotion, nor is it confined to the realm of sentient beings. Instead, he elevates it to a profound, universal principle of harmony, a constant, active force at play in every corner of the cosmos. His unique perspective is quite naturally deeply rooted in his profession as a doctor. He perceives the human body, and indeed all natural phenomena, as a dynamic interplay of opposing forces, constantly seeking equilibrium. Think for a moment about the elements that comprise our very being, the hot and the cold, the dry and the wet. These aren't just descriptive terms. They represent powerful, sometimes conflicting, influences. When these elements fall out of balance, when they clash rather than cooperate, that's where discord arises, manifesting as illness, discomfort, or a general lack of well-being. The physician's crucial role, as Eryximachus sees it, is to step in and reconcile these jarring, often warring components. It is the art of bringing them back into a state of loving harmony, where their inherent differences can coexist productively, forming a healthy, integrated whole. This isn't just medicine. It's the practical application of a cosmic principle, a story of love playing out within our cells and systems. To make this abstract idea more tangible, Eryximachus draws a brilliant and accessible analogy from the world of music. Imagine a high pitch and a low pitch, two distinct, even seemingly disparate sounds. On their own, they exist in isolation. Yet, when they're carefully and skillfully combined, when they agree to resonate together in a particular way, they don't merely sit side by side. Instead, they beautifully coalesce, transforming into a melody, a chord, a piece of music that is greater and more resonant than its individual parts. This agreement, this coming together of diverse sonic elements to create something unified and beautiful, is in Eryximachus's philosophy another powerful manifestation of love at work. It's the force that enables what appears to be opposition to resolve into exquisite unity. Crucially, Eryximachus is not content to limit this profound principle to the realms of human health or musical composition. He boldly extends this vision to encompass the entire universe. He posits that this very same love, this inherent drive towards harmony and reconciliation, is the overarching force that binds together the vast, often chaotic, and endlessly diverse elements of the cosmos. It is, in essence, the invisible architect of order, diligently transforming potential discord into magnificent arrangement, from the smallest atom to the grandest galaxy. So, as we absorb Eryximachus's contribution, love takes on an entirely new dimension. It is revealed not just as a human emotion, but as a fundamental, universal law. It is the cosmic doctor perpetually at work, reconciling, balancing, and harmonizing the diverse elements of existence, ensuring that from every tension and every opposition, a coherent, beautiful, and unified whole can ultimately arise. This is love as the great unifier, the eternal principle of cosmic accord. Now, let's turn our attention to the fourth big idea in Plato's Symposium, delivered by the comedic playwright Aristophanes. His contribution is perhaps the most famous and enduring myth from the entire dialogue, one that profoundly shaped our understanding of love, connection, and what it means to search for a soulmate. It's a story that taps into an ancient, primal feeling within us all. Aristophanes begins by recounting a time long, long ago when human beings were utterly different from how we are today. Imagine a creature, spherical in shape, with a rounded back and sides. It possessed 4 hands, for feet, and 2 faces, identical in every way, set upon a single neck. These 2 faces looked in opposite directions, allowing the being to see all around itself. They had 2 sets of reproductive organs, one for each half, if you will. There were 3 original sexes, male, female, and a third, called androgynous, which was a combination of both. These beings were incredibly powerful, both physically and in spirit. They were swift and agile, able to move in any direction with ease. When they wished to move quickly, they would roll themselves along, using all 8 of their limbs as a wheel, spinning rapidly across the earth. However, their immense strength and pride led them to great arrogance. They grew insolent, daring even to challenge the gods of Olympus. They attempted to scale heaven itself, posing a serious threat to the divine order. The gods were perplexed. Should they destroy humanity entirely, as they had done before? But then, who would offer them sacrifices and worship? Zeus, the king of the gods, pondered deeply. He devised a punishment that would humble humanity without annihilating it. He decided to cut each human being in half. "I will slice them in 2, he declared, "and they will become weaker, but more numerous, and thus more profitable to us. Should they remain unruly, I will simply cut them again, and they will hop around on one leg." And so, with a single decisive stroke, Zeus cut each spherical being clean in 2, much like slicing an egg with a hair or dividing a fruit. Following this drastic act, the god Apollo was tasked with healing the fresh wounds. He turned each person's face and half-neck towards the severed side, so they would forever remember their punishment. He gathered the skin from the remaining parts, pulling it together like a purse string, and tied it in a knot at what we now call the navel. He also smoothed out the wrinkles, leaving only a few around the stomach as a lasting reminder of their ancient form. From that moment on, each half yearned desperately for its lost other. Every severed individual, upon meeting their original half, would instantly recognize them. They would throw their arms around each other, intertwine, and cling together with such fierce longing that they would rather perish from hunger and inaction than ever be separated again. When one half died, the surviving half would seek out another original half, male or female, whatever their original pairing had been, trying to find solace and completion, even if it wasn't their exact match. It is this profound, ancient longing that Aristophanes defines as love. Love, then, is not merely a desire for pleasure or procreation, but the pursuit of wholeness, the relentless quest for our other half. It is the desire to merge with that which makes us complete, to heal the wound of separation inflicted by Zeus so long ago. This myth explains why we feel that deep, inexplicable ache when we meet certain people. It's not just attraction. It's a profound sense of recognition, a feeling that we have found a missing piece of ourselves, an echo of a connection that transcends time. When we encounter that special person, our soulmate, we are, in Aristophanes' view, simply returning to our ancient nature, striving to be whole again, to mend the oldest wound in human history. Our purpose, he suggests, is to find our own particular other half, and by reuniting, to restore humanity to its original complete state. Only then, when we're truly whole again, will we be truly happy and truly at peace. Until then, we are destined to wander, driven by that primal urge to find our missing piece and finally be reunited with our long-lost, complementary self. We now arrive at a particularly illuminating moment in our discussion of love, guided by the young tragedian, Agathon. His contribution, following the earlier speakers, is a dazzling performance, a true testament to his poetic skill and theatrical flair. Agathon, with all the eloquence and beauty of a master orator, presents an image of love that is utterly captivating, almost intoxicating in its allure. Imagine Agathon, bathed in the soft glow of the lamps, delivering his speech with a performer's grace. He praises love not merely as a god, but as the youngest of all gods, eternally fresh, delicate, and radiant. He describes love as soft, so soft that he only ever dwells in the tenderest of places, residing in the hearts and souls of those with gentle natures. According to Agathon, love is beautiful, exquisitely so, possessing a flawless physical form. He attributes to love every virtue: justice, temperance, courage, and wisdom. Love, he argues, is the source of all beauty, all goodness, all poetry, and all art in the world. It is love that inspires harmony, peace, and delight among gods and mortals alike. His words paint a picture of an utterly perfect, benevolent, and undeniably desirable deity, a vision that leaves his audience spellbound by its sheer charm and optimistic spirit. Yet, despite this magnificent and widely celebrated speech, a subtle but profound misunderstanding lies at its heart. A misunderstanding that will become the pivotal point for our next speaker, Socrates. Agathon, in his fervent and beautiful praise, consistently describes the object of love, the qualities that are beloved, rather than the intrinsic nature or essence of love itself. He speaks of love as if love possesses beauty, goodness, and all other virtues, rather than as the force that actively seeks or desires these very things. This distinction is crucial, and it highlights a common conceptual error, one that many of us often fall prey to. We tend to confuse the nature of the lover with the nature of the beloved. Agathon, in his eloquent summation, portrays love as inherently beautiful, soft, young, and delicate, qualities we associate with the things we love. But consider this. If love itself were already beautiful, would it still seek beauty? If love were already good, would it desire goodness? The very act of loving implies a longing for something that one does not yet fully possess. Love, therefore, is not the possession of beauty, but rather the desire for beauty. It is not goodness itself, but the striving towards goodness. Agathon's speech, for all its splendor, inadvertently conflates the state of being loved, the qualities of the beloved, with the active, yearning state of being a lover. This seemingly small error in definition opens the door to a much deeper philosophical inquiry. What exactly is the nature of a force that seeks, desires, and yearns? And by misunderstanding this, what might we be missing about the true power and purpose of love? This vital clarification sets the stage for a dramatic shift in perspective, moving us beyond the beautiful surface to the very core of love's being. Up to this point in our journey through Plato's Symposium, the speakers have painted a beautiful, almost divine picture of love, Eros, as a magnificent god, complete with all virtues, beauty, and goodness. But now the scene shifts. We turn our attention to Socrates, whose unique brand of inquiry is about to challenge everything we've heard, prompting a profound reevaluation of love's very essence. Socrates begins by gently, yet firmly, dismantling the very foundations of the preceding speeches with a deceptively simple, yet profoundly powerful idea. You cannot desire what you already possess. Think about it for a moment. If you're already rich, do you truly desire wealth? If you are perfectly healthy, do you genuinely long for health? Only those who lack something truly desire it. Only those who are without it seek to acquire it. It's a fundamental principle of human motivation. This principle, Socrates argues, fundamentally reshapes our understanding of love itself. The earlier speakers described love as supremely beautiful, supremely good, and utterly perfect. But if love is all these things, if love possesses beauty and goodness inherently, then how can love desire beauty and goodness? According to Socrates' logic, it simply cannot. If love desires beauty, then love cannot be beautiful. If love desires goodness, then love cannot be good. It must, by definition, be seeking what it does not yet have. This leads us to a pivotal, revolutionary definition. Love, in its very essence, is a state of need or lack. Love is not an abundance, it is a yearning. It is the striving for something one does not yet have, but deeply wishes to acquire or possess. It is the bridge between what is and what could be, a constant impulse towards the beautiful, the good, the complete. Love becomes a dynamic force, a perpetual quest, driven by a consciousness of its own incompleteness. This redefinition carries with it an immense philosophical shift, especially concerning love's true nature. If love is characterized by lack and desire for what it doesn't possess, then it cannot be a god in the traditional sense. For gods, by definition, are perfect, complete, and lacking nothing. Love, therefore, is not a perfect deity, but something else entirely, something perhaps more human, more relatable, and certainly more complex. It exists in the space between mortals and immortals, between ignorance and wisdom, between the ugly and the beautiful. It is an intermediary, a daimon, a spirit constantly striving towards perfection, rather than perfection itself. Socrates' interrogation, therefore, isn't just about love. It's about self-discovery. His logic, as incisive as it is illuminating, urges each of us to look inward and truly understand the roots of our affections. Consider this powerful invitation, a challenge to your own introspection. Identify what you lack, and you will identify who you love. It's a profound call to understand that our deepest affections are inextricably linked to our own perceived deficiencies, our aspirations, and our yearnings. For it is in the pursuit of what we are not, but yearn to be, that we often find the objects of our most profound love. We now arrive at a pivotal moment in our journey through the symposium, as Socrates himself reveals the profound wisdom imparted to him by a remarkable woman. This brings us to big idea number 7, the demon in the middle, a concept at the very heart of Diotima's teaching. It was Diotima of Mantinia, a wise priestess, who truly opened Socrates' eyes to the nature of love. He recounts her lessons, explaining that love is not, as many believe, a god, nor is it entirely mortal. Instead, Diotima taught him that love is a great demon, a spirit that exists in the crucial space between the mortal and the divine. This space is what the Greeks called the metaxy, the in-between. Think of it as a bridge, a messenger. Demons, like love, are intermediaries. They interpret and convey messages and prayers from humans to the gods, and in turn, transmit commands and rewards from the gods back to humanity. Without this bridge, this constant flow, there could be no true communion between the two realms. Love, then, is the very force that prevents a chasm from forming, binding the universe together by facilitating connection between disparate elements. To truly understand this complex nature, Diotima recounted love's origin story. Love, she explained, was conceived on the very day Aphrodite was born at a feast of the gods. His father was Poros, whose name means plenty or resourcefulness, and his mother was Peenia, poverty or want. Consider what this unique parentage means for love's character. From his father Poros, love inherits resourcefulness, cleverness, a drive for what is beautiful and good, and an insatiable desire to achieve it. He is a hunter, a schemer, always finding a way. Yet from his mother Peenia, love inherits his perpetual state of need, his lack, his yearning. He is forever wanting, never truly satisfied, always living in a state of seeking. This dual heritage makes love a complex, dynamic force. He is always poor, and yet always rich in resourcefulness. He is neither beautiful nor ugly, wise nor ignorant. Instead, he constantly strives for beauty and wisdom. He is a philosopher, a lover of wisdom, forever pursuing it without ever fully possessing it. For if he were truly wise, he wouldn't need to seek it. This brings us to the true lover, as described by Diotima. The genuine lover mirrors love himself. Imagine, if you will, a figure perpetually striving, a barefooted hunter, resourceful and cunning, but always desiring. Such a lover is not soft or delicate, but rather tough and resilient, dwelling always in want. They're always pursuing beauty, always on the trail of what is good, but they're never fully satisfied. They capture their quarry, only for it to slip away, leaving them once again in pursuit. They are philosophers, lovers of wisdom, constantly engaged in the quest for understanding and goodness. They are ever aspiring, always reaching for something beyond their current grasp, bridging the mortal realm of their present state with the divine ideal they relentlessly seek. This is the nature of love, the demon in the middle, and the life of the true lover. As we delve deeper into Diotima's profound teachings, we arrive at perhaps the most illuminating insight. The ultimate purpose of love, she reveals, is birth in beauty. This isn't merely a poetic phrase. It's a foundational truth about human existence, a core drive that shapes our every action. Consider this startling idea. Every single human being, without exception, carries within them a kind of pregnancy. We are all, in essence, fertile. This isn't just about physical reproduction. It's a deep-seated, universal urge to bring something into being, to express and manifest what lies dormant within us. We are all compelled to give birth. For some, this pregnancy manifests physically. They are pregnant in body, drawn to women or men, as the context implies, and their desire is to conceive and bring forth children. These offspring become their path to continued existence, a legacy of flesh and blood that carries on after their own bodies fade. But then, Diotima directs our attention to a different, often more profound, form of conception. Others, she explains, are pregnant in soul. They carry within them not physical potential, but seeds of wisdom, virtue, and understanding. These are the individuals whose souls are filled with justice, temperance, and all the noble qualities that shape human character. And just as the body yearns to give birth, so too does the pregnant soul ache to bring forth its own kind of progeny. What does such a soul give birth to? Not children, but wisdom itself. It produces great laws, like those crafted by Solon or Lycurgus, which guide societies. It inspires the creation of magnificent art, enduring poetry, and profound philosophical insights. It cultivates virtue in others, passing on a legacy of moral excellence. These are the children of the soul, far more beautiful and immortal, in a sense, than any physical offspring. For while a child grows old and eventually passes, a profound idea, a just law, or a timeless work of art can continue to influence and inspire generations, extending its life, and thus the life of its creator, for centuries. And what drives this universal impulse to create, whether physically or spiritually? It is, at its root, a fundamental human yearning for immortality. Mortality is our undeniable condition. We are born, we live, and we die. But our spirit rebels against this ultimate end. We wish to leave behind something that endures, something that transcends our individual lifespan. When we bring forth children, we see a part of ourselves continue. When we contribute to the realm of ideas, art, or just governance, we establish a presence that outlives our physical form. This act of creation, this birth in beauty, offers us a slice of immortality, a way to defy oblivion, even if only for a time. Now, here's where the concept of beauty becomes absolutely vital. Diotima explains that the soul, when pregnant with truth and virtue, feels an overwhelming urge to give birth. But it cannot do so just anywhere or in any circumstance. It needs the right environment, the perfect medium for its creation. Think of it this way. Just as a physically pregnant woman is repulsed by ugliness or discord, and instead seeks out beauty and harmony to nurture her unborn child, so too does the soul instinctively recoil from what is base or ignoble. The creative impulse, this divine urge to manifest, can only truly flourish and find its release in the presence of beauty. Beauty, whether it resides in a person, an idea, a piece of art, or just acts as the fertile ground, the sympathetic environment. It is in this harmonious space that the spirit feels safe and encouraged to pour itself forth. Here, birth can happen not with pain or repulsion, but with a profound sense of joy, inspiration, and fulfillment. It is in the presence of the beautiful that the pregnant soul or body can conceive and bring forth. It is only there that the potential for creation transforms into reality, securing for us that precious, enduring legacy. Thus, love, in its highest form, isn't merely attraction. It is the fundamental drive to perpetuate ourselves, to create, and to do so always in the nourishing and enabling embrace of beauty. We're embarking now on a profound journey, one of ascent, guided by wisdom's light. We are climbing what's often called the ladder of love, a series of steps that elevate our understanding and experience of beauty. For this chapter, we focus on the foundational rungs, the very first steps that awaken us to beauty in its most tangible form. Imagine, if you will, the very first step on this path. It begins, as love so often does, with a singular, striking encounter. You are drawn, captivated, even enchanted by the radiant beauty of one particular person. Their form, their features, their very presence seems to possess an almost magnetic force, pulling you towards them with an undeniable power. At this stage, your attention is utterly monopolized. This one individual becomes the focal point of your desires, your admiration, your longing. You might feel a profound devotion, a sense that this person holds the key to your happiness, and that nothing else in the world matters quite as much as their particular charm. This initial attraction, though intensely personal and specific, is more than just a fleeting fancy. It serves as a vital first step, igniting within you the capacity for appreciation, awakening your senses to the very concept of beauty manifest in the physical world. It teaches you what it feels like to be moved by beauty. Yet, as you linger on this rung, a crucial realization begins to dawn. You start to observe, perhaps subtly at first, that the beauty you admire in your beloved is not, in fact, entirely unique. You notice that the very qualities that enchant you, the grace of a line, the harmony of proportion, the radiance of youth, are also present, in varying degrees, in other bodies, other forms. It's a moment of profound insight, like stepping back to gain perspective. You begin to understand that the beauty in one individual, while captivating, is simply an instance, an embodiment of a broader, more universal principle of physical loveliness. The beauty is not theirs exclusively, but rather manifests through them. This understanding isn't a betrayal of your initial affection, but rather an expansion of it. You recognize that what you truly cherish is beauty itself, and that this beauty finds expression in countless forms. The specific vessel, while still cherished, begins to reveal its connection to a wider current of aesthetic wonder. You move from appreciating a beautiful body to appreciating the principle of beauty in a body. With this awakening comes a profound sense of liberation. The intense, sometimes overwhelming obsession with a single person's physical appearance, which can feel almost like a form of emotional slavery, begins to loosen its grip. No longer are you confined, tethered, to the exclusive admiration of just one set of features. You're freed from the singular, often anxious, focus on their presence or absence, their favor or disfavor. The intense dependency on that one individual's physical form starts to dissipate, replaced by a broader, more expansive appreciation. It's a breaking of chains, a release from the narrow confines of a very specific and potentially stifling attachment. This isn't to say the initial affection vanishes, but its nature transforms. It becomes less about possessive longing and more about appreciative perception. The wonderful result of this journey up the first two rungs is a transformation in your capacity for love. You evolve from being a lover of one beautiful body to becoming a lover of all beautiful bodies. Your gaze is no longer limited. It encompasses the vast spectrum of physical beauty that exists in the world. This doesn't mean your love becomes superficial or indiscriminate. Instead, it means that while you can still appreciate the unique charm of an individual, the overwhelming, all-consuming intensity of attachment to that specific person alone is significantly reduced. You see the forest, not just one tree. Your heart, once narrowed, now expands. You find joy and aesthetic pleasure in the physical grace, harmony, and loveliness wherever it appears. You become attuned to beauty as a principle, not just as an attribute of a singular individual. This lays the groundwork for further ascent, preparing you for the deeper, more abstract forms of beauty yet to be discovered. Having diligently explored the beauty found in various individual physical forms, and having seen how one type of beauty can lead to the appreciation of another, the thoughtful soul, guided by the true lover, begins to perceive something far more profound, something that genuinely transcends the merely physical. This marks a critical and transformative stage in our ascent, shifting our focus towards a distinctly different, more encompassing kind of appreciation. At this juncture, the discerning lover realizes that the beauty residing within souls is immeasurably superior to that of bodies. This isn't a beauty defined by outward appearance or transient physical attributes, but rather by the enduring qualities of inner character, by the nobility of actions, and by the inherent virtue of a spirit. Once this deep understanding truly dawns, the lover naturally begins to cherish, admire, and even love those individuals who possess such inner beauty, encouraging their intellectual and moral growth, and actively seeking to forge meaningful connections with them. Moreover, in this same stage, one starts to recognize the inherent loveliness, order, and profound purpose within human institutions themselves. This includes the fundamental fairness of just laws, the accumulated wisdom of well-established customs, and the honorable activities that serve to bind societies together in cohesion and shared purpose. Imagine this progression, moving from a simple admiration of a beautiful face to a profound appreciation for the integrity, strength, and moral compass of a person's character, and then further to seeing the intricate elegance and profound wisdom embedded in the very fabric of how people construct and live together harmoniously and justly. This deep contemplation of societal beauty effectively lessens the intense, singular focus on individual physical forms, gracefully shifting one's gaze toward a broader, more abstract, and universally applicable understanding of what is truly good and inherently right. However, the expansive journey of love and understanding does not culminate there. From the appreciation of honorable actions and the systematic beauty of well-ordered societies, the awakened mind is inevitably led higher still towards the serene and boundless realm of pure intellectual understanding. This constitutes the fourth and arguably most pivotal step in our philosophical ascent. The profound love of knowledge itself, the relentless and passionate pursuit of wisdom, an endeavor we unequivocally call philosophy. At this elevated stage, the lover turns their entire attention, with unyielding dedication, to the exquisite beauty of learning, recognizing with clarity that all forms of knowledge, from the most abstract to the most empirical, are intrinsically interconnected and possess an inherent, illuminating beauty. They begin to discern the intricate, universal principles that govern not only human behavior and societal structures, but indeed the very cosmos itself. The dedicated pursuit of scientific inquiry, the rigorous logic of mathematics, the ethical considerations of moral philosophy, and the grand questions of metaphysics, all these become supreme objects of profound love, admiration, and intellectual yearning. This marks a truly radical and utterly liberating shift in perception and desire. No longer is the lover exclusively captivated by a particular beautiful body or even a specific set of laws. Instead, their intellectual and spiritual gaze widens dramatically, sweeping across what Diotima vividly describes as a vast ocean of beauty, an immense, interconnected, and dynamic tapestry woven from abstract ideas, eternal principles, and fundamental truths. It is a revelation akin to having been looking intently at a single, isolated drop of water, only for the entire, boundless expanse of the ocean to suddenly open before your astonished eyes. This profound expansion of awareness isn't about cherishing one individual instance of beauty, one lovely face, or one admirable act. It is rather about grasping the underlying, universal principle of beauty itself, which majestically manifests in countless, diverse forms across existence. The mind, now fully awakened and intellectually empowered, finds itself irresistibly drawn to these pure concepts, to the unchanging forms themselves, rather than to their often imperfect, transient, and fleeting earthly reflections. The ultimate, overarching goal of this entire profound intellectual and spiritual ascent, therefore, becomes unequivocally clear: to completely detach desire and longing entirely from its initial, physical, and sensuous roots. The powerful passion and intense yearning that initially began with an attraction to a human form is now progressively purified, refined, and elevated, no longer constrained or bound by the ephemeral nature of the body or the limitations of the senses. The physical world, with all its material allure, is now understood to be merely a stepping stone, a necessary beginning, but assuredly not the ultimate destination of love. The profound desire that once attached itself so strongly to the flesh is now consciously and deliberately redirected towards something eternal, something unchanging, something absolute, towards the very essence of beauty itself, apprehended solely by the discerning intellect. This entire process is a true liberation, a profound freeing of the soul to pursue the highest, most divine, and most enduring form of love, where the mortal and temporal considerations finally give way to the immortal, the everlasting, and the truly transcendent. And so, dear listener, we arrive at the very summit of our ascent, the ultimate revelation in Diotima's profound discourse on love. This is the final destination, the breathtaking vista we have journeyed towards, the beholding of beauty absolute itself. Imagine, if you will, a beauty that is utterly pure, always existing in the same state, entirely divine. This is not a beauty that waxes and wanes, that blossoms in youth only to fade with age. No, It is eternal, immutable, beyond the reach of change or decay. It neither comes into being nor passes away. Crucially, this supreme beauty is not physical. It is not a face, a form, a body, or anything that can be touched or seen with earthly eyes. Nor is it dependent on any specific place. It exists neither on earth nor in heaven. It is not an idea or a piece of knowledge that resides within something else. It stands purely by itself, existing independently as a singular, unified form. It is not beautiful in one respect and ugly in another, or beautiful at one time and not another, or beautiful in relation to one thing and not another. It is not something that appears beautiful to some and not to others. Instead, this beauty absolute exists eternally and uniformly by itself. All other beautiful things participate in it, drawing their loveliness from this ultimate source, yet without causing any diminution or alteration to its perfect, singular essence. It is the unblemished, unmixed, pure, simple, and divine itself. This, Daitemma tells us, is the magnificent reward of all the arduous steps we've taken on the ladder of love. When one's eyes, the eyes of the soul, are finally able to perceive this beauty absolute, a profound transformation occurs. Only in beholding this can a human life become truly real, truly worth living. Until this point, we have been captivated by shadows, by mere reflections of beauty in beautiful bodies, souls, laws, and sciences. We have lived, in a sense, in the realm of images. But now, facing the true source, the reality itself, one will no longer be satisfied with the fleeting, imperfect beauties of the world. What is more, it is only by perceiving this beauty absolute that a person can hope to generate true virtue rather than mere images of it. Before this, any virtue we might cultivate is but a pale imitation, a shadow cast by the real thing. It is virtue born of opinion or custom, not of genuine understanding. But here, seeing the true and divine beauty, one can bring forth true virtue, because one is in communion with truth itself. This is the spiritual climax, the profound peak of our journey through Plato's Symposium. It is the moment when the seeker of love transcends all particular forms of beauty to gaze upon the very essence of beauty, finding there not just an intellectual understanding, but a profound and life-altering vision that elevates human existence to its highest potential. It is the realization that to love truly is to seek this eternal, unchanging, perfect beauty, and in so doing, to achieve true wisdom and true virtue. Imagine the scene, the elegant, intellectual gathering, conversations flowing with philosophical discourse and clever wit. Then, suddenly, the doors burst open. In stumbles Alcibiades, utterly and gloriously drunk, crowned with a thick wreath of ivy and violets, ribbons streaming from his hair. He needs assistance to stand, yet his presence immediately commands attention. This is no quiet entry. It's a magnificent disruption, an eruption of Dionysian revelry into the Apollonian calm. Alcibiades, a man famed for his breathtaking beauty and charisma, now stands before us. Outwardly, he is perfection, the very embodiment of physical grace and charm. Yet, beneath this dazzling exterior lies a soul in turmoil, a mind often chaotic, swayed by impulse and indulgence. His drunken state, though flamboyant, only serves to highlight this internal disarray, a stark contrast to his flawless physical form. And then, his gaze falls upon Socrates. Socrates, with his familiar, unconventional appearance, outwardly plain, even homely, with his snub nose and bulging eyes. He is the antithesis of conventional beauty. Yet Alcibiades sees him as a living embodiment of those ancient Silenus statues, rough and crude on the outside, often depicted as ugly, yet open them up, and within, they conceal miniature golden figures of the gods. This Alcibiades reveals is Socrates, ugly on the outside, perhaps, but within him reside divine insight, profound wisdom, and a truly godlike inner beauty. He is in essence Eros personified, not the Eros of physical desire, but the higher Eros that draws us toward truth and ultimate good. It's this very contrast that plunges Alcibiades into a deeply personal, almost agonizing confession. He openly admits his profound admiration and, indeed, his love for Socrates. Yet, alongside this powerful attraction, he confesses to feeling a crushing shame in the philosopher's presence. Socrates, simply by being himself, temperate, wise, virtuous, highlights Alcibiades' own shortcomings. Socrates' unwavering commitment to virtue acts as a mirror, reflecting Alcibiades' intemperance, his reckless pursuit of pleasure, and his inability to live up to the ideals he knows, intellectually, are true. He finds himself caught in a painful paradox, drawn irresistibly to Socrates, yet simultaneously repelled by the stark realization of his own unvirtuous life. Ultimately, the lesson here is both powerful and unsettling. True philosophy, embodied by a figure like Socrates, does not merely offer abstract ideas. It confronts us. It drives those who are unwilling or unable to live virtuously to a state of profound discomfort, even madness, born of shame. The pure light of wisdom, radiating from a truly virtuous soul, exposes the shadows within others, forcing an uncomfortable self-recognition that some find unbearable. Alcibiades' anguished confession serves as a vivid testament to the transformative and often painful power of genuine philosophical truth in the real world.